Okay, let's check out this short one about an acid-base equilibrium. So phenol is a weak acid that partially dissociates in water according to the equation above. So here's phenol, interacts with water, gives it a proton to generate phenoxide anion and hydronium. What is the pH of a 0.75 molar phenol solution? So this is a very, very straightforward calculation regarding Ka. So what are we going to do here? We've got this equilibrium and we've got a Ka. So what is Ka telling us? Remember Ka, as with any other equilibrium constant, we can get an expression here where we have products over reactants. So C6H5O minus right there times H3O plus over the reactant, or C6H5OH. Okay, so this definitely we have to be able to write a Ka expression. Remember, water's not in there, that's a pure liquid. So we have this guy times this guy over that guy. And we have a Ka value. So clearly we're going to plug some stuff in. When it says what is the pH, that we're trying to the pH is telling us the hydronium concentration. So we need to get hydronium concentration. If we can get that, we're going to get the pH. So how do we do that? Well, let's plug in what we know. We've got 1.12 times 10 to the negative 10. Now, so we don't have any other information. We have 0.75 molar, or we have this, but we don't know exactly what to put in here. We're starting with 0.75 molar phenol. Some of it dissociates, right? Some of it acts as an acid, but it's a weak acid, so only a little bit of it acts as an acid. So we're going to get some amount of phenoxide and hydronium. How much are we going to get? Well, we don't know, so let's just call it X. And whatever, every time phenol deprotonates, we get one phenoxide and one hydronium. So these will necessarily be equimolar. These concentrations must be the same. So if we call either of these X, the other one is also X. So up here we get X squared, right? X times X is X squared. Now on the bottom, we're going to say we're starting with 0.75 molar. And whatever we got of the products, that's how much we used up. This is all 1 to 1 to 1 to 1, right? So we don't have to worry about any coefficients. But 0.75, from that, we have to subtract X. Okay, we're subtracting X because X moles, right? X molar, the concentration went down by X molar, and then we get X molar of those. So this is what we're gonna do a little bit of algebra here. Now the thing is, we can make one simplifying assumption, and that is this: you're gonna look at the Ka. The Ka is very, very, very small. It's about 1/10 billionth. Right, so that means very few of these molecules are going to act as an acid, and because because Ka is so incredibly small, 0.75 is not going to change much. This is actually negligible. We can ignore that. We can treat it as just 0.75 because it's really going to be 0.749999913, right? It's going to be very close to 0.75. So close that we can just call it 0.75. But the x's up here matter, right? Because this is division, not subtraction. So we can make that simplifying assumption. Anytime Ka is 10 to the negative 5 or so, or smaller, if it's 10 to the negative 5, and if it is negative 6, negative 7, and then we're dealing with a concentration that's closer to 1, that's a very wide discrepancy. If we're talking about more than 4 orders of magnitude, 5 orders of magnitude, we don't have to include that right there. So what we can do is let's just multiply both sides by 0.75, and we get that x squared is 8.4 times 10 to the negative 11. And then we just take the square root, and we get 9.2 times 10 to the negative 6. Okay, so that means, so x is 9.2 times 10 to the negative 6. molar, we'll call it. And so that is the hydronium concentration, right? We said that X is equal to both phenoxide and hydronium concentrations. So in order to get the pH, all we need to do is take the negative log of the hydronium concentration. And that turns out to be 5.04. So that is the pH. So all we did was we wrote out the Ka expression, and then we plugged in what we know. We knew the Ka, we knew the initial phenol concentration, and then we called these each X, and then we just solved for X. So, and then once we got the hydronium concentration, we just took the negative log. There's our pH. So very, very straightforward. We definitely must be able to do a simple calculation like that. Now let's look at part B. For a certain reaction involving phenol to proceed at a significant rate, the phenol must be primarily in its deprotonated form, phenoxide. In order to ensure that the phenol is deprotonated, the reaction must be conducted in a buffered solution. And then down here we've got this scale. We want to circle each pH for which more than 50% of the phenol molecules are in the deprotonated form. So we're going to use a buffer solution to keep, the solution at a particular pH. And we need it to be at a pH at which phenol will be deprotonated, right? So how are we going to do this? Well, Henderson-Hasselbalch equation tells us that when you have equal concentrations of the acid and base conjugates, then the pH of that solution is equal to the pKa of the acid. So we have to remember that this kind of a question is asking us about the relationship between pH and pKa. So let's get the pKa. The pKa, just like pH, we're just taking negative log, but we're taking negative log of the Ka. 1.12 times 10 to the negative 10. And that equals 9.95. So that means that at a pH above 9.95, we're going to have phenoxide, because what we're saying is above the pKa of this acid, the solution is basic enough. There's enough hydroxide in solution to be taking the proton from that acid. Below that pH, right, below 9.95, it's acidic enough, there's enough hydronium around to be protonating everything. So that's what we're comparing. We're taking the Ka and getting the pKa, and we're saying any pH above the pKa is going to work out. So since that's 9.95, here that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So in general, we're understanding that the more basic the solution, the more phenol will be in the phenoxide form, right? So when we have these questions, it can be a little abstract thinking about the solution. Remember, more basic, more hydroxide. Hydroxide can take protons from things. Lower pH, more hydronium. Hydronium can protonate things. So when you have some functional group that has a protonated and deprotonated state, the lower the pH, the more likely it is to be protonated, because it's acidic enough to be protonating it. And the higher the pH, the more basic it is, the more likely it is to be deprotonated, because we have base around that is going to take the proton. So that's a good one about this acid-base equilibrium, a pH calculation, and then talking about some buffers.